underdog. I've been through it all. I could never.
What's good, you guys? Welcome to For the Underdogs podcast. I'm out here in Miami at the Next Chapter U event put on by the pro athlete community. I'm super grateful to be here. I'm super excited for the person that I got in the chair across from me, Mr. Soul Cole.
What's up, family?
Yeah, man. It's a good vibe in here because, Soul Cole stands for so much, and he's been super impactful in what he does. And a quick story, I got introduced to you through a mutual friend, Mike, who has been just a good person within our lives. I'm sure yours as well. And we had a phone call.
Shout out Mike.
Yeah, shout out to Mike, man.
Mike.
Shout out to Mike. And we had a phone call, and I remember, I just wanted to connect with you because I seen what you was doing, and I loved the space that you was in.
Yeah.
And on the phone call, you was like, "Man, it's not a mistake that we talking." And you was like, if the paths continue to align, then at some point we gonna intertwine.
And here we are.
So, man, it's a pleasure to have you on the podcast, man, and I'm super grateful for that, for real.
Man, thank you for inviting me on the show. I'm glad that, like you said, our paths did align through PAC, and to be in Miami, right?
Yeah, man.
I'm excited to dive into the convo.
Yeah,
and shout out to all the underdogs too.
Yeah,
1992, what it do.
Yeah, that's real. I appreciate that. Talk to me a little bit about PAC and how you came into the space of PAC and the impact that it's had.
I got introduced to Caleb back in summer 23, and I was still in the middle of my transition, but fully immersed into this version of myself. And Caleb and I sat down. I want to say we was in Fort Lauderdale though, and we had lunch, and he got a chance to hear my story, and he realized this could be a missing link for PAC, adding value from a mindfulness component as far as, putting more emphasis on the inner work, on the inside job. And, we talk about the game being, in any game, right, any sport, being 90% mental and 10% physical.
That's
and
right.
We've invested so much, more than 90% into that physical. How much have we invested into, from our whole career, from the time we were young boys and young women, now that we, starting to get women involved, how often have we invested into that mental? So, he was seeing my journey and my path, and he was like, bro, these athletes can relate to your story because you've been in their shoes and, you competed with them, or, they respect you because of your journey, and it's not easy.
That's
you
right.
can talk the same language. And he invited me in to go through the program, that September cohort, and also get a chance to facilitate the mindfulness at the same time. So I looked at that as a win-win opportunity, and that gave me my confidence to know that I could show up as a facilitator, and what I label myself a flow facilitator in this space. And from after that first week, I was able, because my sessions are optional.
Yeah,
and so
right.
for guys to show up to my session and it's optional at 6:45 a.m. To start the day, which are long days, filled with all other types of events, for them to choose to come to my session meant a lot, and I ain't take that for granted. And they kept coming back. So I'm thinking to myself, all right, bro, we just going to continue to sharpen your gift. And PAC gave me an opportunity to do that, and support and the resources and the community, right? That's not just a word for marketing. It's truth. It's foundation. It's a core value for them, and it resonates with me, and that, what brings all of us together.
Man, I love that. You talk about the journey, right?
Yeah.
I'm sure the journey post-football career has brought a lot of knowledge to you, more so than maybe on the field. I may be wrong by saying that, but I feel like you've probably expanded your knowledge a ton since leaving the game. But what did that transition look like for you? Was it tough? I know I experienced some tough times in transitioning. I would love to hear your piece on that.
My transition brought me down to the lowest valley I've ever experienced, right? And a lot of us know what it's like to be at the peak of the highest mountain. but not many of us, talk about being at the lowest valley, and that's where I was at in my transition, coming off 2 surgeries, neck and hip, back-to-back months, and not only physically struggling, but mentally, emotionally, spiritually, defeated almost, if you will, discouraged, and not. I used to explain it like, I've gotten knocked down so many times, but this is one of those times where I really didn't want to get back up.
Ooh.
You get taught, like, coming up in little league, high school, like, if you get knocked down, get back up.
Yeah.
All right, we get in the conditioning of getting back up. But this was one time I was like, I don't even want to get back up, bro. Like, I'm good.
Man.
I'm good down here, like, as if, like, I'm ready to check out.
Man. And what is that process like to dig yourself out of that hole that you feel like you put yourself in?
You find out a lot about yourself in those moments. And, like, even when you do have support, I don't want to make it seem like I didn't have support or access to resources. To be honest, I just wasn't in a place at that time to receive it. Right? There's a thing, like, the person has to be willing to receive the help. I can check on you all you want, but if you closed off, if your heart is closed, if your heart is too heavy, it's not open to receive, and it's not light, you're not going to be able to actually, get the work done that you need to get done. And so for me, I had to check in with myself. I had to be honest with myself. I had to look myself in the mirror. Like, okay, bro, you're not okay.
That's a powerful exercise when you look yourself in the mirror and you really are truthful with the man that's in the mirror.
To be honest, that exercise is uncomfortable.
It is.
It's vulnerable.
It is.
To just spend that time just staring. And I took it, I forgot where I learned this from. Talking about knowledge post game.
Yeah.
Someone said, either it was a podcast or a book that I read this, and they mentioned, like, looking at just one eye. Like, if you're looking in the mirror. So I used to pick my left eye, and I'll just stare into my left eye in the mirror, because your left side of your body is your feminine side of your body.
That's right.
And so I would stare into that to let the softness start to melt away and to come forward, if you will.
That's powerful.
You feel me?
Yeah.
And then I started to shift over to that middle eye and gaze there and start to tap in. It's like, okay, I feel you, I see you, in a different way, and that harnessed a level of focus that I didn't have before.
That's powerful. Speaking in terms of, like, getting to that point, as black men, I think a lot of times, especially coming from the NFL and the nature of the business we come from, a lot of us don't get to that point. A lot of us can't even see that far into our inner selves that we realize something needs to be done. What was that moment like for you? Were there any drawbacks that you felt, or did you fully engulf yourself in that moment?
In that moment, I knew I was on this path. I knew I was on the journey of the unknown. And at that moment, I knew that the only other option was, to, like I said, not get back up and call it quits and check out. But I knew that I still got that dog in me.
Of course.
I still got that dog in me.
Of course,
and it just took a while for him to, like, get back into it, right? And I had to give myself some grace. But once I realized, like, yo, I'm ready to fight again, we was able to, to lean in and pick yourself back up. Yeah. Because in those moments of darkness, and when you realize, like, sometimes you think it's pitch black. Yeah. But then there's it's a little glimmer, a little glimpse, right? A little sparkle, and you like, hold on, what's that? Yeah. I think I see something down there. I think I see some, you know what I'm saying? Like, and then you start going a little bit closer, and then the light started to get a little bit bigger. Man. And then y'all meet each other, and then that's when you realize the light was in you the whole time.
I love that. And I was just speaking on that the other day of how it can be the smallest thing that reignites that light. Somebody believing in you, somebody
speaking life over
somebody
you.
speaking life into you, somebody praying over you, whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
Who was that person for you? Because just a little foreshadow, you inspire a lot of people.
Yeah.
So who was that person that inspired you to get back up and fight for Soul Code?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. It's countless people that come to my the top of my mind. My sister, my little sister, she was definitely one of the ones that's always been in my corner. And I remember it was a time when she used to always like text me before a game. And not that my parents didn't or other family and friends didn't either, but she used to always send me one of those messages like
that hit different.
Yeah. That sister's love, bro. I don't know if you got a sister, bro, but that sister love hit different.
Yeah.
And when I was going through the rehab, when I was going through what I was going through, like seeing her continuing to like show up for me, I used to go back and read those messages, right? And just put myself back in those mindsets. Like, all right, bro, like not only you got a lot of people counting on you, like you got to stop, putting that back into yourself. You got to stop putting that back into yourself, speaking life into yourself. And that encouraged me to, like I said, get back in the mirror. Something I never done before, affirming myself with authority. Like, like yes, like I am worthy. Right, things like that, like not to the point like I'm just doing it to just be repetitive, but to the point where I actually know it internally. And that vibration, that frequency will start to rise within me and not become that version that you see now. That's allowing me to be an inspiration to others.
Man, let's talk about the inspiration.
Yeah.
What does the word inspire mean to you? Because like I said, you inspire a lot of people, so I want to know what the definition of it is to you.
To be real simple, I think it's to ignite. And that to me is like, just like that little, we all have it in us. We all have that light that's within us, right? But sometimes we just need somebody else to come along and go ahead and add to it.
That's right.
Just a little bit, and next thing you know, right? And now they're able to go and they're catching fire, and their fire catches and it spreads to other people. You never know who's on that platform, who's on that network, who's in their reach. Excuse me, but my whole thing is like, I want to be able just to connect and reach one. Yeah. Reach one person, one soul. Because that's really what soul stands for, bro. I told you that, right?
And tell me again.
Seeking oneness using love is the acronym that was inspired by Tony Dungy and his book, Soul of a Team. Yeah. He created an acronym for soul, which inspired me to create an acronym for this brand and how I show up. Yeah. No ego involved, just a representation from my soul as a reflection of the mirror to anybody who I come in contact with. And really, that's how I see it.
What does life look like through your eyes, man? I don't even know if that question makes sense, but what does it look like on a deeper level? What does it look like through your eyes?
A constant miracle every day, every moment, really. Like every moment is something that I haven't seen before until that moment.
It's crazy because you probably didn't always have that outlook.
Nah, I think the outlook really used to just be going through the motions. Yeah. We as athletes, we get the conditioning of this schedule. We got this routine. Every Wednesday, we got first and second down. Every Thursday, we got third down.
Blitz.
You know what I'm saying? Friday, quick red zone, quick 2 minutes. Saturday, walkthrough, Sunday game. You know what I'm saying? Like, we get used to that regimen.
That's real.
And you go through the motions. And that's a conditioning now. It's a program mentally, physically. You start to respond that way. And if something is altered, could be chaos.
All hell break loose.
It could be chaos, bro. It's like, hold on, what you mean?
Yeah.
What you mean? Yeah. All right. especially if you don't give me no advance notice.
100%.
Right? Like if it's a short week, we play on Thursday, okay, cool.
Yeah.
We know that going into it.
Yeah.
But I need time to make those adjustments because we, you know what I'm saying, for 10 weeks straight, we've been doing this. Mm-hmm. So it's like now I see things more in the present moment for what it is. And it's a miracle, bro. Every moment is a miracle.
That's powerful, man. And that says a lot about the work that you put into yourself. And I know you'll continue to put in work to help others that look like us and guys that have came through the same, you know,
because representation matters.
Yes.
That's the reason why I chose this path. Because when I was going through this, I didn't see someone who looked like me, played in the league, come from where I come from, talk how I talk. Like, I didn't see that. And I'm thinking to myself, why is that? Why is that the case?
Yeah.
Or maybe I need to be the change that I want to see.
That's real.
So let me step up to the plate. Let me answer the call, because I ain't want to answer that call at first. I denied it.
Me too.
I was like, who, me?
Yeah.
You can't be talking to me.
Yeah.
Next.
Man, you ain't lying. I feel like within my space of podcasts, so when I started my podcast, I had a lot of people that thought it was going to be the jokes and the funnies and the you know, the sports updates and things, which there is a little bit of that. Of course, that's the nature of the business. But to me, I'm like, nah. When do we in this space become facilitators of great conversations? When do we become teachers?
Yeah.
You know, people that can inspire other people that look like us to do this platform without all the mess that comes with it. So 100% I can agree with that.
This is more than surface level.
Yeah.
And this is, to be honest, this is more than substance.
Yeah.
This is that soul work.
Yeah, that's
you know
right.
what I'm saying? Like
100%.
we getting beyond, like I said, that top layer.
Yeah.
You know, which comes with the clickbait, what comes with, you know, the social media stuff. I get that, but that I could tell you that's not your goal.
Nah.
You know what I'm saying? That's not your mission.
No, it's
for
not.
why
at
you
all.
created this platform.
Yeah, no, that's real. I appreciate that. That means a lot, and I received that. Tell me, if there's a young man, woman that's in the space that you were in, they feel like they're at rock bottom. They don't know which direction to look. They don't feel like there's any hope in there. What would you tell that person?
Don't stay there too long. Don't stay there too long. You can stay there for a moment. Feel what it feels like to be here, because at some point you're gonna be here again. But when you get back here, remember what it felt like to be there the first time, and know, okay, what adjustments do you need to make this time, right? So you're not here for the same amount of time or longer.
Right.
I feel like the goal should be, as you continue to ebb and flow throughout life, the least amount of time that you could spend on the ground is the better. You know what I'm saying? If you hit the ground, if you hit your rock bottom, okay, cool. But don't let it be like a delayed count.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, every time you should see yourself progressively getting better by reducing the amount of time that you spend down there. You see what I'm saying?
I love it, yeah.
And when you say if you don't know where to look, up, down, sides, look in. Right? Look in is where you win.
Yeah. I love that. It's important to feel what that feeling is.
Yeah, feel that feels. You gotta feel in order for you to heal.
Yeah, that's real.
Period.
That's real. Man, this was long overdue, man.
No, but it's right on time.
It's right on time.
It's always divine.
Yeah, you're right about that. And I feel like we could talk for hours, man, just based on this conversation. I'm very appreciative of you, man. I like I said, when we connected, I knew that there was something inspiring about you, and I love the path that you're on, and I love the journey that you're on, and I can't wait to see where you go from here. So
I'm extremely grateful for you, for the platform, the Underdogs, 1992.
Yeah, man.
And you already know what to do.
Yeah, appreciate you, dog. That's real.
Yeah, for the underdogs, I'm an underdog.